Alright, so this is going to be the first part of my Learning King series. I'll be going over King's kit, his movement, and a high-level game plan, addressing what I feel is the best way to find success in your matches. I hope this guide helps you out. There will be timestamps in the description in case you want to jump to a specific part of the guide, and let's begin with an overview of King. King is a character who rewards creativity and thinking ahead. Possessing the largest move list in the game, King has access to a variety of tools to set up his devastating grabs, and his powerful pokes allow him to boast an incredibly strong neutral game as well. But to get the most out of King, you'll need to master his difficult inputs, buffer timing, and slow movement, as well as come up with a unique game plan due to the sheer amount of anti-King content available. However, after you learn the basics of King, I believe he's some of the most fun you can have in Tekken. We'll start with Giant Swing, forward, half circle forward 1. Giant Swing is the fastest throw in the game and an invaluable part of King's game plan. Giant Swing does high damage and will wall splat your opponents if they're thrown into a wall. However, the damage can be reduced if the opponent lands on the ground by tech rolling. If you're fast enough, you can blue spark this move for a little extra damage, but to start, remember Giant Swing is a 1 break. 1-2 and 2-1 are incredibly important pieces of King's game plan. At 10 frames, they're very fast and help King condition his opponent, as both 1-2 and 2-1 have follow-ups that will punish opponents that are trying to duck to avoid being thrown. However, 1-2 and 2-1 can be followed by grabs, forcing your opponent to react to your next move. Back 1-2 is a 12-frame punish tool that will launch for a full combo on counter hit. You can also look for a counter hit by delaying the second hit of the string if you think your opponent will try to mash out. Forward neutral 1+2 is a 9-frame push that will leave you at +7 on hit and +18 on counter hit. Forward neutral 2 is a low that is a cornerstone of King's game plan. It's relatively fast, does 55 damage on counter hit, has great range, can set up throws, and is surprisingly deceptive when used with forward 2, which is a pretty fast mid that'll hit opponents looking to block low against forward neutral 2. At 23 frames, down back 3 is a pretty slow low that doesn't do a ton of damage. However, down back 3's biggest strength is that it's an incredible setup tool for King's powerful throws and some of his harder hitting moves like full crouch down forward 1. Back 3 is an armored move that has great range and can be enhanced with 1+2 on hit for additional damage. Due to the fact that back 3 is an armored move, it's an incredible tool for controlling space against aggressive opponents and can help you control the flow of the match. Sticking with armored moves, let's take a look at up forward 3+4. Up forward 3+4 is an advancing kick that'll put King into Jaguar Sprint on hit. This allows King to punish opponents that are anticipating a throw, but also punish opponents that are respecting his powerful mid options. Up forward 4 is King's hop kick, and at 15 frames, it's his fastest natural hit launcher. Up forward 4 also has a few evasive frames in which King hops over lows, making it an excellent punish tool if you can react to a slow low from your opponent. Let's take a look at King's most viable grabs, starting with the Rolling Death Cradle. Rolling Death Cradle starts with B step 1+4, and from there you'll go into Chicken Wing Face Lock with 2, 1, 1+3, before finishing the input with Rolling Death Cradle, 1, 3, 4, 2, 1+2. Forward half circle forward 1 is King's Giant Swing. It's the fastest throw in the game, does 65 damage by default, and is King's go-to buffer throw. King's basic throws in 1+3 and 2+4 can now have their range extended by holding forward. Let's look at reverse arm slam and down forward 1+3. This is an easy chain grab as you can extend it with either 1 or 2, and is a great way to knowledge check your opponent without the difficulty of some of King's other chain grabs. And with the throw changes implemented in Tekken 8, you can now start this input from crouch. Quarter circle back 1+2 is King's Muscle Buster. Muscle Buster does solid damage, and thanks to the throw changes, can now start from blocking low. Finally, we have Shining Wizard and while running 2+4. This move is an excellent space closer and is essential to King's game plan. In general, King wants to set up throws in any situation where he's in plus frames, but your go-to setup moves are going to be down forward 1, down forward 2, down back 3, forward neutral 2, and forward neutral 1+2 on counter hit. To set up your throws, you're going to want your opponent to respect your mid threat. You can do this with down forward 1, 2, as the opponent will have to respect the string's second hit. If your opponent continues to use standing block, you can use down forward 2, 1 to check them as well. Once you've established your mid threat, you can use King's buffer tools like down forward 1, down forward 2, down back 3, forward forward neutral 2, and forward forward neutral 1+2 on counter hit with King's extended range throws. At its best, King's movement in Tekken 8 is incredibly slow. His backdash is certainly one of the worst in the game, and his normal sidesteps share the same sentiment. However, King's sidestep can be enhanced by pressing 2+4 during its animation, which gives it more distance, more evasive frames, and allows it to be immediately followed by a chain grab. King also has access to B-step and forward neutral, down down forward, which gives him access to some aggressive options, and is the start to some of his deadliest grabs like the rolling death cradle. King also has access to Jaguar Step and 3+4, allowing King to hop towards or away from his opponent with a few evasive frames. King also has access to Jaguar Sprint and forward 3+4, allowing him to charge at his opponent and select his next move from his Jaguar Sprint options. From Jaguar Sprint, King can use Jaguar Sprint 1, Jaguar Sprint 2, Jaguar Sprint 3, Jaguar Sprint 4, and Jaguar Sprint 2+4 or 1+3. King can access heat through his heat burst and 2+4, forward 2-1, forward 2+4, down back 1+2, 2, Jaguar Sprint 2+4, and forward 1+4 against crouching opponents. Once in heat, King receives some pretty insane upgrades to his Jaguar Sprint. For starters, Jaguar Sprint is now totally armored for the duration of the move, forcing your enemy to pick a low option to stop you. Jaguar Sprint 1 is now an armored, full combo convertible launcher, and Jaguar Sprint 2+4 is now an armored, unbreakable grab that restores heat duration on hit. Finally, there's King's heat move. This move does 64 damage on hit, and on block will put you into Jaguar Sprint. In my experience, King's game plan revolves around forcing your opponent to respect your mid-threat, and therefore opening themselves up to King's grabs. But before that, let's go over some of what I believe to be some of the best ways to start a round on King. We'll start with 1-2. At 10 frames, it's very fast, does significant damage, and has a ton of follow-up options to match what King needs in the situation. If you think your opponent's going to start with a low, or a move slower than 15 frames, up forward 4 is a great option that can convert to a full combo on hit. If your opponent opens with jabs of their own, and you don't want to risk trading back with your own 10 frame, back 3 is a great option to get them off of you, and can be enhanced with 1+2 for a ton of damage. However, be careful when using the start against characters like Dragunov and Jin that can extend their jab combos into lows. Alternatively, if you want to go on the aggressive and establish your mid-threat, up forward 3+4 is a very strong start, as you can either force your opponent into standing block with Jaguar Sprint 3, or grab them and force them to deal with your heat state. It's also worth mentioning that you can use your buffer attacks to start rounds. Down back 3 is really good if your opponent is planning to start high, and down forward 2 is a strong mid that establishes mid threat. And of course, with these moves being buffer moves, they can lead into King's powerful throws. If you're looking for a more evasive start, you can Jaguar step backwards and come in with forward 4 neutral 2. If your opponent is mashing, this will probably land you a counter hit and allow you to start the round with a ton of damage. Sidestep 2+4 is a really evasive start that will allow you to start the round with a chain throw and condition your opponent to expect a certain break option. And finally, down back 1+2 is a defensive option that will allow you to react to your opponent's next move. To close out rounds, King has a ton of powerful options, but the most powerful may be Shining Wizard and while running 2+4. King also has access to moves like alley kicks and down 3+4 that he can then convert into a full crouch down forward 1 for a full combo. Jaguar Sprint 4 can close out rounds as it is a tricky low that is hard to read if you've been using Jaguar Sprint 3. Finally, don't forget to utilize up 1+2 as this move does pretty good damage and its tracking is absolutely insane. And that's pretty much everything I know on King so far. Thanks for watching, I hope this guide helps you out, and I'll update the guide again when I learn more.